Holy smokes, the world is trembling at the potential of a second Trump presidency, a Trump 2.0. In addition to what we got to talk about with the world reacting, including what some lawmakers are saying in Europe about Trump and Ukraine, we got to talk about what's going on with Trump's merch, his fundraising, and what's going on with polls post-debate, although we'll put an asterisk on that because they're polls, and we'll keep them towards the end. But listen to this. French lawmaker Benjamin Haddad, who's part of Emmanuel Macron's party in France, that's the president of France, says, quote, listen to this quote, "There's a strong possibility Trump might get reelected. It forces us Europeans to read the writing on the wall and take more responsibility. They're warning that a return to a Trump presidency might mean France might have to significantly produce and manufacture more weapons to supply Ukraine on their own rather than relying on America. Obviously now, many people, especially those on the right, are like, it's about damn time. It's about damn time the Europeans stepped up and dealt with their own problem on their borders, rather than America dealing with all of it. Or a large part of it. We shouldn't discount how much Europe has been contributing, but let's just say it's less than half of what America has been contributing, and it's kind of over there in that area. Anywho, putting all of that aside, it's not just France or other European countries that are worried about a potential, Trump return, but Taiwan is freaking out over the potential that Trump could be more supportive to China than the Biden administration is, potentially reining in control of China back to America rather than where China feels like it is now. A lot of folks on the right saying China's cozying up to countries like North Korea and Russia because they feel alienated by the Biden administration. Those on the left argue, hey, no, we're doing what we should be doing. We are supporting Ukraine the way we should to minimize the growth of Russia, and maybe we don't have to worry so much about Russia and China anyway because China's in a depression and Russia is basically self-destructing. That's obviously a political divide in terms of opinion now. We actually also just heard that Tucker Carlson has requested to interview Putin. I don't think it would be a good idea for that to happen in Russian soil. We don't want to see Tucker Carlson get evaned, like the reporter who's basically been detained in Russia for many months now from the Wall Street Journal for writing critical articles about Russia. But anyway, that would be very interesting to get sort of a sit-down of an American journalist with Vladimir Putin to get maybe a little bit more color into where Putin's mindset is. But beyond all of this, focusing on Trump here, there are a lot of countries that are like, wow, we might be getting closer to a Trump presidency here, and we're going to have to buckle up and prepare for what it could mean, especially since Donald Trump has suggested that any imports to the United States from foreign countries would get hit with a 10% tax. And that's because he's promoting American manufacturing over the purchasing of foreign products, therefore making foreign products more expensive, preventing them from, in the words of Trump, dumping their products cheaply on Americans. And this sort of business mindset, many on the Republican side say, is exactly what America needs, whereas those on the left say, this is going to create an all-out trade war and create massive problems. Usually, from an economic point of view, you do end up having a deadweight loss. That is, overall, the economy does get hit when you have new taxes. However, taxes can motivate certain relationships and be used as basically partner building or control in negotiations. So there's usually a lot more to it than simply an economic point of view. Anyway, 72% of Republicans at the moment, according to the Wall Street Journal, say they would consider voting for Donald Trump again, with 95% of them saying the reason they want to support Trump is because, quote, he fights for people like me. Now, I try to do the same thing on the channel as well, providing unbiased information as much as I can, just providing you facts on all sides. But one of the things I am very, very clear about is how to build wealth, whether that's building your wealth in real estate or stocks. In my programs that are the most popular programs linked down below, we've got an expiring sale coming up here on the 31st of August, end of the month sale. Check those courses out linked down below. Again, most popular are stocks and psych to build your wealth in stocks. Build your wealth through real estate, go from zero to millionaire, just like I did in real estate. You can do it as well. Many are bundling this. And then, of course, the third most popular is the income and artificial intelligence wealth builder course. So check all of those out, linked down below. But some more updates on Trump. Trump on September 6th, mark your calendar, is expected to be arraigned in Atlanta. That's to be followed by Rudy Giuliani 15 minutes later. Everyone else who's been indicted in Georgia, these other 17 folks, all expected to be indicted, arraigned, I should say, not indicted, at 10 a.m. Arraignment is the event in a court proceeding where you enter your plea, guilty, not guilty. However, I imagine we're going to get not guilties across the board, and where you hear the charges that are being brought against you. This is different from an indictment, which is now where you go through your booking process and you're released on bail, which is your way of saying, yeah, I'll show up in court and end up, entering my plea. That generally happens during an arraignment. Anyway, what else is very interesting is that Rudy Giuliani's son is now running the Giuliani Defense PAC. It's having one of its first fundraisers in September at Trump's New Jersey Bedminster golf course. What's really interesting, and Trump is supposed to be a featured guest here as well, what's really interesting is they're asking every invitee or donor to donate at least $100,000. They're expecting to have maybe 10, 12 people, so pretty private event. But anyway, that would be raising about $1 million for Giuliani's legal fees, which we can expect are going to be massive. What's also interesting is that Trump just always manages to make money from everything, because now, as he supports Giuliani by showing up at Giuliani's event, Trump's Jersey golf course also makes the event hosting fees. Like in 2008, Giuliani paid $53,000 to use the Trump golf course in Florida for a political event. So no matter what happens, it's like Trump is making money off merch. He's making money off of the event spaces. I mean, politics is the perfect place to be for merch and events. So it's kind of hilarious. Trump has really managed to make money at every step of the way, including the fact that now he is selling branded merchandise with his mugshot. And his mugshot is Never Surrender. Take a look at this. Never Surrender merchandise. You can pay $15 for a set of 2 koozies here, beer koozies. You've got a MAGA hat still going for $40. Vinyl bumper stickers for Never Surrender. Anyway, this Never Surrender merch has apparently brought in $4.18 million Friday alone, one of the biggest fundraiser days ever for Trump. $7 million since the mugshot was released. And everything then, of course, funnels back to the events. Totally brilliant. In the past 3 weeks, Donald Trump has raised $20 million. And since January 2021, we have seen Donald Trump spend about $59.2 million on about 100 lawyers for just fighting all of the cases against Donald Trump and the cases that they have promoted as well to fight election fraud and election interference. Anyway, it seems to be that every time Donald Trump gets punched, he just gets stronger, leading a lot of people to now call him Teflon Don. Of course, those on the left are saying he should be spending even more money on legal fees because he needs to be brought to justice. And those on the right are going, whatever, if 10% of every donation we give to Trump goes to help him fight the system, we are happy to do that because he's out there fighting for us. And that's really what a lot of individuals are bringing this down to is, hey, if Trump can be unfairly indicted, in, of course, the opinions of those on the right, then that could happen to me as well. And so we need somebody to fight to clean up the justice system. Of course, those on the left say, there's nothing wrong with the justice system, just don't commit a crime. Of course, that's where Trump's like, I didn't commit a crime. Anyway, all this to be litigated. What else is interesting that came out after the debate is that, and we know polls don't really matter. I told you I'd save this to the end, but according to the latest Emerson poll, apparently Trump did slip a little bit in his post-debate polling. This is despite some other polls last week saying he actually improved his position since the debates. I personally don't really care about these little fluctuations in the polls, but I will say one thing that was really impressive in this is the big takeaway winner here was actually Haley's bump. from 2% to 7%, close to Pence's 3% to 7% move. But Ramaswamy barely moved. He actually lost 1% according to this Emerson poll. But Haley really moved up. Haley moved up in the opinions of many because she actually acknowledged the reality that, government isn't easy, and acknowledges that you have to be able to convince Congress to get things done, and you don't need an entrepreneur like Vivek to just come in and say, we're just going to ban the FBI or delete the FBI, we're going to delete the Department of Education, we're going to do all this sort of single-handed stuff. And that's not the way to run a government. Some contrast here that actually, in the eyes of many on the right, actually gave Haley a big bump in respect. A lot of people who had never mentioned Nikki Haley's name before this debate are actually now saying, Vivek, I don't really trust him. So I hear some people saying, this is all anecdotal, what I'm about to say, right? I want to be clear about that. It's just anecdotal. So I hear some people saying, no, I don't really trust him. I don't know. Do we really want a Trump versus Biden rematch? Well, I'll still vote for Trump, but if for some reason Trump didn't get there, my runner-up choice might be Haley. I'm hearing more of that than I had previously. So I find it very interesting. Anyway, there's your full update on Trump. We'll see you in the next one. Consider subscribing if you like these sort of updates, and make sure to check out those courses on building your wealth. Link down below. Next expiration is on August 31st, and we are expecting you to have to be a course member to invest in HouseHack at a 1-to-1 valuation if you'd like to invest in HouseHack. Thanks so much. Goodbye.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
To which I say, yes, meet Kevin.
Where does this mean we are in the economic cycle? Should we be thinking about buying real estate? Should we be thinking about buying stocks? I have a background in real estate as a real estate agent, real estate broker, real estate investor, a stock market investor, and fund manager.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here?
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Always great to have you on. Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kev.